Good morning, good morning, good morning. It is February? No, it is March. I don't even know what month it is. It is March 5th, 2026. This is Morning Matters. It is 5:39. I would have started at 5:33, but my camera wouldn't work. So, um, one of the things that happens randomly is my cam doesn't start and I have to reset my entire computer. So I'm gonna have to work on figuring that out. So this morning I wanted to uh, continue talking about what we've been talking about the last couple days, and that is, you know, building. Becoming something, reaching your goals. How do you do that? And the small steps. Back to the paradox of the heap, and not looking at results. Getting excited about the work and not about the results. So what do I mean? Like, so when you start, like, when I always have, you want to start with your dreams, right? You want to start with the end of your life. I always say if you want to, well, I always say it now, but I got it from, I think it might have been Rick Castro who I heard it from first. But it's like if you want to design a great life for yourself, start with your eulogy. Right, start with what you want said when you pass, when you die, and then work backwards from there. Right, so if you want people to say this is a great family man, or a family, a great mother, um, then now you can work on relationships, and building relationships with your kids, and really relationships with your spouse. If you want them to say you built great businesses, or you were very um giving, well, now you got to build something so you can give, right? So you start with what you want. This person traveled the world. They used to always send pictures and this and that, and then now you can start traveling. You'll start focusing on that. So you start with the end in mind and you work backwards. So when you're trying to reach your goals and attain your goals, one of the things that I say I do with people is I start off with a dreams workshop. I got this from a book called The Dream Manager by Matthew Kelly. And it's funny, I was watching, this just popped in my head. I was watching some Gary Vee and talking about the Dream Manager. And he had somebody ask him, because he does his live videos and he talks to people and they ask questions. And he said, somebody asked him, how do, I'm working at this job, and the or no, it was somebody asked, like, how do I get my people to, I own this business, so how do I get my people to care as much as I do about the business, about our where we want the business to go? And Gary Vee was pretty upfront. He's like they're not, like, there's difference between being a business owner and being an employee, right? An employee is there for a paycheck. Yeah, they chose to work for you because of the paycheck. That's the first step. And then but all things, if the money is all equal, right? Because if somebody, like, they could like you all, but then it's the quality of the work, and their time, and location, and there's other things that go into it. But your dream, and the reason you started the business, is not really going to be in their top one or two, right? One of the things, I do a lot of talking about Tesla, and a lot of people work for Tesla and they're really into the mission, right? But always, what they're always doing over, the people who hate Tesla, hate Elon Musk, are constantly, instead of seeing what he's building and looking at the success of the companies, they're you know they try to tear him down. But that's a whole nother thing. Like, you don't have to like the person. There's a difference between Elon Musk and Tesla, and Elon Musk and SpaceX, and one's a company, one's a person, right? So, but what he's able to do in his companies is he has such a mission. He has people who are so committed to the mission. But the ones who want to tear him down, or want to say that Tesla's not good. Look, here's what's called FUD, which stands for fear, uncertainty, and doubt. When they want to spread FUD, is they want to say like, look at this person just left, this really higher up, they're head of AI. I remember when Andrew Karpathy left, and the head of their AI and or FSD program, left, or this person left. I remember when what was it? Lee Strobel, oh my goodness, he went, and I think, no, not Lee Strobel. Lee Strobel's it's Strobel, but not Lee. I forgot his first name. But anyway, one of the higher ups, one of the founders, when he left and started Redwood Materials, right? That's going to drive me nuts. Gotta look it up. Who founded Redwood Materials? J.B. Straubel, right? So Lee Strobel is a creationist. J.B. Straubel, Straubel, right? So he was one of the originals in Tesla, one of the founders there, and he left and he started Redwood Materials. Redwood Materials was a company that was going to still is recycle batteries, because JB Straubel was like, well, look, we're making all these electric cars and it's going to become bigger and bigger, and we're finally become successful. What happens when these batteries break down to a point where they need to be recycled, where they're just not good enough for a car anymore? And so, without going into a whole bunch about that, the concept is, the haters would be like, look, Tesla's losing all these top people. This top person left, the director of this left, this person. And Tesla has been fine. Every single time they've been like, this person leaving is gonna end, it's gonna be the end of Tesla. They find somebody else, right? But why do those people leave? They leave because, first of all, they join the company because they obviously they want a paycheck and whatnot, and they want to make money. And a lot of those people wanted to make money, made a lot of money by getting stock in Tesla, right? And that was something there. So that kind of tied them into dream. But overall, they have their own dreams. These people, and so getting back to my original point here, as I've gone down six different tangent lines, is the woman who stood up and asked Gary Vee and said, how do I tie my people into my mission? How do I make it so that they're, he's like, you have a strong mission, you make them work, but then you have to tie into their goals. You have to ask them, what do they want? What's the things, like, they'll be tied into you if you're tied into them, right? Goes back to the original mission statement of the Bright Futures community from Zig Ziglar, which is, you can have everything in life that you want if you help enough people in life get what they want. And so trying to convince people to be a part of what you want, just help them get what they want, and then they'll be more tied into you, right? So this is one of the things that they do in the Dream Manager. They talk about, each week they would sit down and first 1 week they just sat down, they just made all the employees write down 100 goals, 100 dreams, right? The difference between a goal and a dream, if you don't know, is a dream is something you want. A goal is something that you want, but it has three qualifications. It has to be measurable, meaning you can say I hit it or I didn't hit it. It has to have a time frame. So it can't be like a dream might be like, I want to lose weight. I want to have a great body. I want to have lots of energy. So those are dreams. Those are things that you could say you want. But the dreams, those results are byproducts of goals, right? So a goal would be, I want to lose 25 pounds in the next 3 months, right? So and then you write it down. So the three qualities of a goal has to be measurable. You either hit 25 pounds, you lose 25 pounds, you don't. It has to have a time frame, 3 months, right? You set the date, and then it has to be written down. Why do you have to write it down? Because that solidifies it. You can't change it. You can't keep it in your head, right? So anyway, but he does the 100 dreams, and then they take the dreams, they work them down into goals, and then they help each other like that. And this is what I want to create with Bright Futures. This is what the first thing we do, and I'm building this course. I'm trying to figure out this course where one of the seminars we're going to do is that exact thing, and talk about people's dreams. Because then when you start seeing what other people want, because people want things that you've never even thought of, like you sit there and you listen to other people, and they say they want to be a part of a TV show, or they want to, own a helicopter, or they want to, deep sea dive, or whatever. They think of things that you probably would never even think of. There's things in their life. There's things that I can't even think of that somebody would be like, this is something that I want. I'd be like, wow, that's really cool. And there's certain times, and then what happens is, as human beings who have who aren't, as long as you're not like a sociopath, right? You have empathy, right? And you say, oh, I want to see them be successful, and so I want to see them hit that goal. And then how can I help? Now, it's not your number one thing to help the other people, but it is something that if you see someone, this is why we love movies, why we watch, TikToks of people being successful, and because we get that feeling that we almost put ourselves in that position. So you can always, as a group, do more than as an individual. And this is, again, what we're doing with the Bright Futures community. So I've definitely gone down so many, I've had so many thoughts hit me and take me down so many tangents as I've been talking here. And it's taken me completely away from originally what I wanted to speak about today. But so what I was going to talk about today, again, is the idea of getting excited about the grains of sand, right? We talked about a couple of days ago, we talked about the paradox of the heap and creating a heap of sand, and adding every grain of sand, adding another grain of sand, and another grain of sand, and eventually you'll have a heap. But the thing is what people will do, what I'm doing myself, I say people, but this is something that I do myself. And this is why we don't want to focus on the results. We don't want to sit there and add a grain of sand and be like, all right, I'll add another grain of sand. Where's my heap? Is my heap here yet? No, it's not. Let's add another grain of sand. Is there a heap yet? Right? And we keep wondering, we're worrying, when's it going to turn into a heap? Right? And so I catch myself doing this. Like I said, okay, I made my plan. I made my goal. My dream is to, fix my body, get, not be diabetic anymore, and lose weight and have energy and be able to, be in better shape and look better in my clothes and all that kind of stuff. Right. And so I made my plan, we talked about this yesterday. I made my eating plan and my schedule for, when I'm going to work out, when I'm going to do all this stuff. And I followed it, like I said yesterday, you make a plan, we make plans, and God laughs, right? The universe laughs at us. So I haven't been 100% to the plan. I mean, rephrase, I've messed up a bunch already. It's only been, what is it, the 6th, 5th, 6th? No, March 5th. It's only been 5 days. But I have been adding grains, right? So I've done my 1%. I've actually been to the gym every day, this month. Now it's only the 5th. So it's 5 days, right? So it's 4 days, and this is the 5th day, which I'll go again today. So, but I got on the scale. Like I caught myself yesterday. I got on the scale, and I was down 2 pounds, and I'm like, man, I need to be. I feel better. I'm like, I feel better, this and that, and I checked my blood sugar, and it wasn't really great. And I got on the scale, and I'm like, yeah, it's only 2 pounds. I feel like I should be doing more, because I've been doing everything. And it's like, it's been freaking 3 days, 4 days, right? So I can't change 49 years of bad habits in 3 days. I'm looking at my 3 grains of sand, 4 days of sand. I'm like, where's the heap? Right. So if I'm doing this, there's other people doing it. Right. And so this is just understanding that it does take time. It's so funny. I'd actually watched a tick. I think I shared it on my Bright Futures. So check out if you're not check all the socials out. They should be on these videos somewhere. Instagram, TikTok. TikTok is philosophyman76. On Instagram, it's B Futures 2026. And but yeah, there was a little video of it was like this little fat kid. I'm from the 90s, right? So I'm not politically correct, but it was a little fat kid. He got his stomach, and he's like talking to his mom, and he's like, "Hey, I worked out. Why is my tummy so big still?" And mom's like, "What are you talking about?" Oh yeah, he says like, "Why is my tummy so big still?" She's like, "What are you talking about?" And he's like, "I exercised today. Why is my tummy so bad? I thought exercise shrinks your tummy." And she's like, "Well, it doesn't. It takes a little bit longer." Like it's like, oh. It takes time. And the kid had a crazy face. I felt like that was me. I was that little fat kid. 40 years later, right? Um, so yeah, it takes time. So the thing is, you can't. But if you're focused on the results out the bat, if you're emotional, like we talked about yesterday, reality versus expectations, right? So the only reason I was upset about only being 2 pounds down is because I expected to be more, right? I was like, I'm gonna be like at least 298. I started at 304, right? And I'm like, ugh. If I would have been if I expected 2 pounds, then I would have been like, oh, cool, right? If I expected 1 pound, I'd be like, oh, I lost 2, right? But 2 was horrible for me. I was upset because of my expectations. And so, but the thing is, it shouldn't get on the scale at all. Like it shouldn't matter. Like what I got on them, after I went through that, I caught myself being disappointed, and I refocused, I reframed it, and I said, I've been to the gym every single day. I went through the whole month of February. I think I went to the gym twice. Actually, I write down all my workouts. So let's say, let me call myself to the carpet. Let's see, how many times did I go to the gym in February? 2/9, 2/16, 2/18, 3 times. 3 times. In March, I've gone 4/2, 4/3, 4/4, and I'll go again today. So I've already matched my February output, my February trips to the gym in the first 3 days of March. So that's something to be excited about. Like, okay, let me get my streak going. Let me add my grains. That's what I'm excited about. The results of it will come, but they're not going to come for a while. Not going to come for months down. It's going to turn into a heap, and I'm not even going to know it's going to be a heap. I'm just going to keep adding grains of sand, because you can add a grain of sand, and the reason I use a grain of sand, it's like a grain of sand. Like if you just kept putting a grain of sand in front of yourself, it's going to take a lot of grains of sand before even two land on top of each other, right? Right, before you even have a layer 2, before you even get into the second dimension, or the third dimension, right? So you might be on the first dimension for a while before you start. There's no room in front of you. It's going to take a while, and so you just got to keep adding. You got to say, hey, now I've done this many days in a row. One of the things I also track is my records, like how many days in a row have I done something, and so that way I can get excited about that, right? I can get excited about the activity, not the results, because the activity is what matters. Just keep doing the activity, keep adding your grains, and you will get there. Work on your business every single day, work on yourself every single day, work on your health, work on your relationships. And it's just a small thing. If you're trying to have a better relationship with your wife or with your child, and you just say, okay, I'm going to read them a story every night, right? And that's it. And you just do that. The first time, the kid might be annoyed at you. It's like, what are you doing? I'm too old for this. I'm whatever, blah, blah, blah. Go away. I want to talk to my friends. I want to be on my phone, and then you do it again, and then you do it again, and you do it again, and you do it again, and you do it again. And eventually the kid just expects it. And then when they're older, the one thing they remember is about you is, that's is my dad or my mom, every single night for years would just read me a story, or whatever, whatever it is, that and if that was something you wanted in your eulogy, that there you have it, right? And you did it just by consistency, and it's by doing it and repeating it and adding that grain of sand every single time. So um it works for everything. It works for investing, it works for relationship. Like, it's just the way the universe works. The laws of nature are the laws of nature, and this concept of every little bit helps, every little quit hurts, right? I remember that was a phrase that ooh, hmm, t-shirt idea. So I'll wrap up with this. So one of the things that's been going through my head, and actually I watched Gary Vee yesterday, and he helped me out a little bit, is I've been trying to figure out, like, right now, if you're watching this, like, the community doesn't exist. Nothing really exists. I'm just getting on this computer and doing this. There's not one person watching this. I'm on a live, and I'm posting it on a channel that has eight subscribers right now. And so that I know are definitely not watching this. But it's part of my plan, right? So I'm building my habit. And eventually we'll be on here, and there'll be comments, and there'll be people listening, and there'll be people saying things, and we'll chat, and it'll be a great thing. Our morning matters. But one of the things I've been struggling with is how to financially, because I want to do this. I don't want to work at a job. I actually talked to my buddy, Mr. Gianelli, out, and he's like, look, he's like, you're just not good at working for people, and you're right. But the person I gotta work for is me, which means I gotta be a tough boss on myself again, and I've lost that, but I'm gaining it back. And the idea, I'm like, well, how am I going to pay my bills, right? Like, I got to pay my bills. I got stuff I got to do, um, and it's like, well, how do I monetize this? That's been my head. So I got like T-shirts, and I'm like, I got to make a course and then do the community, and then am I going to make a YouTube channel? Am I going to make money that way? Make this money? I'm trying to figure out all these ways to commoditize it, and I got like no followers, no nothing, and it's like. And I was watching Gary Vee, and then I was watching some other people. I was like, how to build a school community, and I was trying to figure some stuff out. And what it came down to, it boiled down to, is like, just get everything for free, and give value to people, and eventually, and you will figure out it'll come. The money will come. Just be valuable to other people, and money will come. And that's true, because I remember during COVID. I did a lot of shows on stereo with Muhammad. I was doing an investing show. I did a show with Rashad, Make It Make Sense, right? And I was talking about stocks, and I was going over my my AMC play at the time, and I was going over, I went over my Tesla stuff, and I was just constantly talking, and just, I wasn't doing it for money. I wasn't trying to make money. I didn't think I would ever make money. I would just love talking about it. And I remember someone sent me $200 out of nowhere. Didn't ask them. Never had they found my Cash App, and they sent me $200 because something that I told them when I was chatting, when I was talking on that show. They made a bunch of money listening to something that I said, and I was like amazed. I was like, isn't this like $200? That's a lot of money that somebody just sent me. I was like, isn't that for like OnlyFans people only, and whatnot? Like, hey, someone just sent me that, and it was crazy. And so I'm thinking of that. Actually, that just popped in my head now, because I need to start. I need to just start. So my focus right now is I'm gonna make 3 shirts. I have three shirt ideas, although I have a 4th one, as I just said that before, which was what was the quote that I said? Every little, yeah. Hold on, I'll write that down right now, because I'll forget it if I don't. every little, what was it? Every little something helps, and every little quit hurts. I'll think of it later. It already popped out of my head. I can go back and I'm on video. I can go back and watch the video. All right. Actually, I'm going to do that right now. All right. It's 6:04. We're going to wrap up another Morning Matters and get my day started. And I appreciate every one of you. Let's make a bright future together. And I will talk to you soon. Tomorrow, actually.